Dear guests and members, welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I, Kanahuria, will be playing the role of Sergeant at Arms for the meeting. The club's mission, as everyone has a mission, the club mission is that we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skill, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is a premier club, as you can see in my video, is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer will have a virtual raise of hand so we can see who is keeping track of time. Our TMOD will lead our meeting, who is Toastmaster Sonja. Toastmaster Sonja has provided me her introduction, so let me introduce her. Our Toastmaster of the day is someone who leads with heart, curiosity, and courage. Today, she invites us to explore leadership beyond certainty. How can we stay adaptable, resilient, and connected even when the path ahead feels unclear? Let's welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sonja Meindl. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Kana, for opening this meeting. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, leadership beyond certainty. A statement that sounds bold, doesn't it? Because most of us prefer clear plans, straight lines, and predictable outcomes. But true leadership often begins exactly where certainty ends. When the ground shifts, when the old answers stop working. Leadership calls us to bring 3 powerful qualities to the table: resilience, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Resilience keeps us steady when things get tough. It is that quiet inner strength that whispers, "Keep going, you've got this," even when the way forward is not clear. Adaptability allows us to adjust our sails, to pivot gracefully when the wind changes direction. It's not about control, it is about creativity and flexibility. And emotional intelligence is what keeps us connected to one another. It helps us to read the room, sense what others are feeling, and lead not just with logic, but with empathy. At Leadership Speak, we practice all 3 in every single meeting. When a speaker steps up for the first time, that is courage and resilience. When a member fills in for someone else's role in the last minute, that is adaptability. And when an evaluator gives feedback with both honesty and respect, that is emotional intelligence in action. Leadership beyond certainty isn't about knowing the future. It is about creating trust and direction together. It is about being calm in the storm, flexible in the unknown, and being human through it all. As we begin today's meeting, I invite you to reflect on one simple question. How do you lead when you don't have all the answers? Because that is where real leadership begins, in uncertainty, in courage and connection. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. our members, and especially our guests. We are so happy you're here. Please stay tuned until the end, share your reflections, and be part of this conversation, what it truly means to lead beyond certainty. Let's step forward together, all of us, into the art of leadership beyond certainty. Special greeting to our guests who have joined. We're very honored to have you here. Please fill out the guest book that is being posted in the chat so that we can connect with you later, hear your feedback, and get back to you. Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce our toast speaker, Aminata. Aminata is a passionate Toastmaster and a leadership consultant who serves as past Region 11 advisor. She's a leader who turns challenges into lessons and uncertainty into growth, truly embodying leadership beyond certainty. Please welcome Aminata Keita on the virtual stage. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear Leadership Speak family. It's an honor to raise today's toast on a theme that every Toastmasters has lived through: leadership beyond uncertainty. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck, I was serving in the district leadership role at Toastmasters International. And overnight, meetings stopped. The laughter, the applause, the energy, all gone. There was no handbook for leading in that kind of silence. I remember staring at a Zoom screen for the first time, wondering how we'd keep our members motivated. But slowly, we learned. We discovered that leadership wasn't about control. No, it was about connection. We listened more, encouraged each other, and found creative ways to keep the spirit alive. Looking back, those months actually taught me what beyond certainty truly means. It's when you can't see what's next, but you still choose to serve. It's when you lead with empathy, not with your ego. You lead with courage, not in comfort. And that's exactly what Toastmasters has always been: a space where we grow, not because we are sure, but because we show up. So as we start this meeting today, let's remember that leadership beyond certainty isn't about knowing every answer. It's about staying human when answers are few, and hopeful when times are tough. May we all keep leading, even when the path is blurry, with open minds, steady hearts, and voices that build others up. Ladies and gentlemen, please, at this very moment, unmute your microphones, open your cameras, and raise your glasses. Here's to leadership beyond certainty.
to lead us
Leadership beyond certainty. Thank you very much. Toastmaster of the day, back to you.
Thank you very much, Amina. That was... Now, I would like to welcome on the virtual stage our timer for today, Iche. One thing is for certain. Iche's smile brightens up the whole world and our stage today. Over to you, AJ.
Thank you. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and honored guest. I am your timer for today. Hold on, give me 1 second to get back to you. Here we go. Let's start that over very quickly. Give me a second here. Okay. All right, I am your timer for today, and I will signal. All right, hold on. I'm confused here. I am a timer for today's meeting. I will time each speaker according to the agenda and signal using virtual backgrounds. I will use the green background, then I will also use the yellow background, and then I will use the red background. And after using the red background, you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Iche. Timing is important in life, and especially in our meetings. Now, I would like to welcome our grammarian on stage. Please welcome Meindl Ghosh, a dedicated Toastmaster and Market Access Manager at GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals. He is passionate about continuous learning, self-care, and personal growth. Over to you, Meindl.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guests. As the grammarian of today's meeting, my role is to pay close attention to the language used by all the speakers, how effectively and creatively they express their thoughts. I'll be listening for good use of English, including interesting phrases, strong vocabularies, and powerful sentence structure. And I also note down the language errors, such as incorrect grammar, mispronunciations, or filler words that can be improved. In addition, I'll introduce the word of the day. And word of the day, you can see it's already there in my background, volatile. Meaning, it means something is likely to change suddenly, unpredictably, or easily. For example, in a volatile world, leadership beyond certainty means staying composed and decisive when everything around you is unpredictable. That's all from my end. I encourage everyone to use the word of the day throughout the meeting. I'll note down who uses it correctly and mention it in my report. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster Sonja.
Thank you so much, Meindl. Now I would like to address especially our guests. As we are posting the guest book in the chat, I would like to encourage you to fill it out. It helps us to stay connected with you and to learn more about you. Thank you. We are moving on to the speaker segment. And I would like to introduce our educational speaker for the day, Nellie Ayodo. And I would like to introduce and welcome on the virtual stage her evaluator, Tati. Thank you. Evaluator Tati, please tell us more about Nellie's project. Thank you.
Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests, Nellie's project is on motivational strategies pathway, level 5. The title of her speech is Embracing Certainty. The purpose of this is for Nellie to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Tati. Nellie, our educational speaker for today, is a distinguished Toastmaster. She is a public speech trainer and a coach. Embracing Certainty as a Strength. Embracing Certainty as a Strength by Nellie Ayodo. Over to you.
Jimmy Dean, an American artist, once said that I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust the sails to always reach my destination. Leading beyond certainty is about leaders embracing adaptation, embracing resilience, embracing emotional intelligence. Leading beyond certainty is the ability to embrace adaptability. A leader has the ability to shift their mindset. In case of a volatile environment or situation, it is the ability of the leader to connect with the team and set the pace of what is to happen in a volatile environment. Leading beyond certainty is the ability for a leader to give direction by embracing change, to give direction to their team when volatility happens. In 2020, COVID-19 happened. Toastmasters embraced change by putting their meetings online. Today, our club, Leadership Speak, is a product of COVID-19, when our coach, a visionary leader, Bram Memon, started Leadership Speak. Today, the club exists, and we have 32 people from 32 countries and different time zones. If COVID-19 did not happen, Leadership Speak would not have been in existence. But our leaders chose to run with the idea of embracing change by having an online meeting to continue the Toastmaster Club. They did this by using clear communication to all team members, and they embraced collaborative solution making. All members are encouraged to be team players, embracing new ideas. In leadership speak, members come up with topics, leadership topics every session, new leadership topics every session. And that helps us to embrace new ideas. Leading beyond certainty is a strength in that the leader has the ability to be resilient. COVID-19 taught us that we have to recover quickly and get back into our usual mode of Toastmaster meetings. Much as we were not allowed to meet physically, we were joined by meeting online. Our leaders were effective, they were focused, and they were calm under pressure. Leading beyond certainty requires a leader to be calm under pressure so that they're able to communicate their message well to the team without being stressful. They need to be very decisive, even when they do not know the answers. Leading beyond certainty is a strength in that it affords us to confront challenges. Through these challenges, we're able to come up with new ideas, and as a process, we innovate new things. Resilience is a driving force for all to overcome all hurdles. Resilience helps us to overcome the challenges that are confronting us. When a leader is resilient, they can communicate their message with calm, therefore uniting the whole team together. I would like to move on to emotional intelligence, and I'd like to embrace Daniel Goleman's model. He says that emotional intelligence is a skill that we should embrace as leaders during uncertainty. It unleashes our social skills. It helps us manage our own emotions and the emotions of our team. This is done by us becoming self-aware of ourselves. When we are aware of our values, we now generate our values to the team, and we use our goals of the organization to embrace or to overcome volatility. We make this situation, the volatile situation, work for us. We reach out to team members for solutions. The leader who leads with certainty entrusts the team to carry the vision of the organization, even when they are not very sure of what is going to happen. They show dynamic results by incorporating and communicating clear instructions to the team. They do this to build trust. When a team trusts you, they deliver results. Leading beyond certainty is also an area where we have connection. We're able to connect with other team members and discuss the volatile situation and come to a solution. At Leadership Speak, we are normally encouraged to embrace new members when they come into the team, to get to know them at a personal level. In our phone books, to embrace that connectivity as a team. When we are all connected, we unlock the intelligence of our team. We're able to share our solutions to solve problems of a volatile situation. Therefore, we're using the volatile situation as our strength to enhance our organization. We focus on our goals and we don't lose direction. Daniel Goleman continues to say that the team should get motivation from ourselves. We should keep the team motivated so that we're able to get results. Staying focused on the goal is a very crucial point in leading in uncertain times. He also says that empathy plays a big role when we're able to understand each other, where we're at, and work with that situation. We're able to form a cohesive team to face our challenges together. That we should build relationships, strong relationships, in order for the team to thrive. So emotional intelligence is one of the important factors. In fact, it's the hallmark of leading with certainty. It's the one that enables the team to stay cohesive. Fellow Toastmasters, I'd like to encourage you all to have the courage to lead during a volatile situation. Eisenhower once said, leading with certainty is about knowing the future. It's about choosing courage. We must have the courage to face the volatile situation. I'd like to urge you all to embrace certainty as a strength. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Nellie. Thank you so much for your presentation. I would like to reach out to our guests once more and encourage them to fill the guest book as it is being posted in the chat. Thank you. We are moving on to our first speaker, Ghada, Almojarkish, and the evaluator, Sandra Felix, onto the virtual stage.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
This is volatile work we're doing here. Presentation Mastery Level 2 Project 1, Effective Body Language. That is what's happening for Ghada today in 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of the project is to deliver a speech with awareness. So when you're, I hope everybody is sending evaluations all the time, by the way, because those are important. So while you're watching and listening, she's to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language. As well, she needs to learn and practice and refine how she uses that nonverbal communication, period. So watch for the members' awareness of their intentional and unintentional movement and the body language. Note if there are any distracting movements, as well as movements that enhance the speech. Good luck, Ghada. Off you go. Sonja?
Thank you, Sandra. Ghada's heart beats for inspiration and encouragement. She is a source of happiness and hope wherever and whenever she goes. Ghada, Almojarkish, speak without saying a word. Speak without saying a word. Ghada, Almojarkish, over to you.
Have you ever met someone who said nothing, yet their presence lifted your spirit? Have you? Yes? No? No grand words, no introductions, just their calm, their smile, their light. Have you? Oh, great. That's the kind of communication that doesn't need a microphone. It speaks straight to the heart. Happiness isn't something others create for us. It begins inside us. Others simply reflect what we already carry within. That's something I've learned through 3 silent powers: positivity, presence, and acceptance. They allow us to speak from the heart, inspire others, and most importantly, find happiness within ourselves and share it freely. Positivity, the effect, the energy you carry. It begins when we choose to see the good within ourselves. The same light becomes the lens through which we start seeing that good in others. And when people feel that genuine recognition, they light up. Their happiness reflects back to us, multiplying our joy. Think about it. Have you ever stood near someone who just radiates peace and kindness? You can't explain it, but their calm makes you feel calm too. That's the power of positive energy. Our inner light sends out an invisible message that says, you are seen, you are great, you are enough. Presence, the silent language. A while ago, I was on a plane reading a book called Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins. Suddenly, the plane hit severe turbulence. People gasped. The cabin shook. Fear spread like electricity. The atmosphere turned volatile in seconds. And there I was smiling, not out of bravery, of course, but because I felt in that moment life was testing me on that very thing I was reading about, surrender. I didn't expect to experience it so soon and in this scenario. When the plane finally stabilized, a passenger turned to me and said, "We were terrified, but we kept looking at your smiling face to feel calm." I hadn't said a word, yet somehow our presence speaks even in silence. Acceptance, the deepest connection. The last and most powerful way to speak without words is through acceptance. When we are all perfectly imperfect, carrying both strengths and scars, wins and wounds. When we learn to love ourselves completely and gently, we begin to love others the same. And when we live with self-acceptance, our very presence quietly tells others it's okay to be you. So yes, when I greet you with a smile from my heart, I hope it lightens your day. But before it reaches you, it reaches me. It fills me. When we live with light inside, the world around us starts to shine too. In a world that others or often feels noisy, rushed, and emotionally volatile. That kind of true communication is unforgettable. As David says in his book, like ripples on the water, every gift returns to the giver. So smile from your heart, shine from within, and learn to speak without saying a word. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Ghada. I have received your ribbons and they felt wonderful. As we're moving along, I welcome on stage our second speaker of today, Ghada Felix, and her evaluator, Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Greeting colleague Toastmasters and guests. Today, Toastmaster Ghada Felix will present a speech on the project Introduce to Toastmasters Mentoring. The purpose of this project is for her to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring, and the purpose of her speech is to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. In addition, Toastmaster Ghada has asked me to look at her Zoom presence or her comfort level. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day, and good luck, Toastmaster Felix.
Thank you, Yusili. Ghada is a distinguished Toastmaster and a spiritual life coach who will speak about her experience as a mentee and made that relationship work, the ongoing journey. Ghada Felix, walking together a journey of mentorship. Walking together a journey of mentorship, Ghada Felix.
Bob Proctor said, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. Today, I will share how one of my favorite mentors did exactly that. When our mentor-mentee journey started, Jillian was the manager and I was the brand new assistant. She was to work with me on general ledgers, on profit and loss statements, the hiring process, and everything I needed to know to manage a profitable restaurant. From our first steps together, we had what most people would consider an uncomfortable conversation. Ghada, did you notice that last time you were here, everyone stopped eating to look at you? No, I didn't, but I don't mind it. I'm used to people looking at me. Yeah, but Ghada, what I want to tell you is that here, there's only one Black man who comes to this restaurant, and he is with his wife. That's the only Black person who comes here. It's okay. Now that I am here, they will come. And indeed, they did. By the end of the week, Jillian asked me, what did you do? One thing I knew is that people come where they see people who look like them. In that exchange, I learned that Jillian wanted me to feel comfortable. In that exchange, I also learned that it is best to be yourself, to be authentic, so that you can have better connections. Jillian helped me throughout the 5 years that we worked together. We did a lot of things together. She helped me, she challenged me, she uplifted me. I had promised her that when she hired me, that I would get my driver's license. Month 1 came, no license. Month 2 came, no license. When month 3 came, Jillian looked at me and said, you know, no license, no raise. That's all I needed to know to go get my license. Before the end of month 3, I went and got my license. Later, she said to me, you know, I simply wanted to challenge you because I definitely wouldn't be able to not give you a raise since raise has to do with performance. But I needed to challenge you because if I didn't tell you that, you would still be taking the bus to come to work. A mentor challenges their mentee. But you know, the most humbling experience came one day when Jillian saw me being frustrated. I was so mad at one of our employees that I stormed out of the restaurant. Jillian didn't say anything at the time, but the next day she called me and she asked, what happened? I thought, what happened? You were there. She wanted to know how I felt. She wanted to hear my point of view. Then came the lesson. She shared her point of view, and then she also shared how the employee felt when I stormed out of the restaurant. That was a very humbling experience. A mentor also makes connection so that they can teach you not only the how to, but also how to be. I learned a lot from my mentor, Jillian. 5 years we were together, 5 years. And we became friends. We became good friends. Volatile was not our relationship. I learned from Jillian to be myself. I learned to also connect with employees so that I know how to direct them, how to mentor them. This is something that happened way back. But from her mentorship, I learned to become a better mentor. In Toastmasters, mentorship is very important. We are asked to mentor members. What I learned in my exchange, in my journey with Jillian, is that a mentor connects, a mentor challenges, a mentor makes sure that you are comfortable, because they know that when you are comfortable, you are going to thrive. Yes, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. That's exactly what Jillian did. And this is what I also do for my mentees. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Ghada. Indeed, here in Leadership Speak, we have great mentors. And not only that, we have practice sessions where you can practice, prepare, get feedback. It's a very supportive environment here. We are moving along, and I present onto the welcome on the virtual stage our third speaker of today, Marie Cusin, and her evaluator, John O'Shafo. John, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Marie is working on the Motivational Strategies part, Level 1, Project 4, Evaluation and Feedback. She is giving the second speech on this project. The purpose of the project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to deliver a well-organized speech on any topic and incorporate feedback from her previous evaluation. The evaluator of her first speech recommended that she slows down when she speaks, and she's applying the feedback to this second speech. In addition, Marie has requested me to observe and pay particular attention to her voice flow, audience engagement, and her emphasis on the key audience takeaway. The time for her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Best wishes to Toastmaster Marie. Back to you, Madam TMOD.
Thank you so much, John. Marie is French-Swiss of Indian Bangladeshi origin, who helped maintain care as medical assistant in a private medical group during a cyber attack with a ransom demand, without computers or phones for 3 days. Marie Cusin, when certainty fails, leadership rises. When certainty fails, leadership rises. Marie Cusin. Over to you.
January 15, 2009. Captain Chelsea Sullenberger hears a dual thud just minutes after takeoff. Geez, I've just destroyed both engines of his Airbus. 155 passengers on board. Altitude 850 meters. He has no engine left. No time to land back off at the airport. No second chance. 200 seconds later, the plane is floating on the Hudson River. 150 lives saved. 0 deaths. How? Because in the moment when all certainty vanished, leadership stood up. Dear fellow Toastmaster and guests, today I am going to tell you about our own Hudson landing. And I will reveal the 3 lessons that transform a crisis into victory. Why humanity must awaken when digital dies, how clarity becomes our fuel, and why our silent preparation forges the hero we will become. When digital dies, humanity must awaken. It was a Monday morning at 7 a.m. Our medical group, spanning 3 sites, 300 employees, hundreds of daily patients, woke up in a digital darkness. A massive cyber attack with a ransom demand. No more phones, no more computer, no more patient files, no more appointment systems, nothing. And at 8 a.m., the first patient arrived. Picture the scene. Elderly people with their prescription, parents with sick children, urgent cases. They were looking at us, waiting for us to know what to do. But here is what I learned. Leadership doesn't not ask permission to show up. It shows up because it must. Our medical director gathered the team through his cell phone. We are doctors with our medical before we are system user. We go back to basics. Paper, pen, memory, and above all, human communication with your personal phone. This decision led us to an obvious truth. Without clarity, there is no survival. Clarity becomes our fuel when the engines fail. During our crisis, we did 3 clear decisions, communicate to everyone. First, absolutely priority, patient safety, no compromise. If we could not treat safely, we referred patients to surround hospitals. 2, total transparency with patients, no lies. Yes, we are victims of an attack. No, we do not have your electronic records. Here is what we can do. 3, teamwork without hierarchy. From the receptionist to the surgeon, each person was an essential link in a team united against adversity. As a medical assistant, I myself had to channel, reassure, and direct the flow of shocked patients. A true logical conductor. The doctor returned to consultation without computer like in the 1980s. The nurses created paper tracking system in 20 minutes. And why did this fluidity work? Because the clarity of the message unleashed individual leadership. But this performance was not the fruit of chance. It came from somewhere else. Silent preparation forges the era of chaos. On the day of our cyber attack, I realized something. We were not prepared for this scenario, but we were prepared with the principle that allows us to survive any scenario. Years of medical training in emergency situations, years of managing patient conflicts, years of teams conflicts, years of making difficult decisions with incomplete information. All of that become our personal Hudson. 3 months of crisis, the system were gradually rebuilt. 0 patient lost, 0 serious medical errors. But above all, we gained a transformed team, more confident, more resilient, more leader. In conclusion, an experimented ordinary human would have failed. But a prepared, clear, and calm leader accomplished the impossible. Our cyber attack taught us true leadership does not reveal itself when everything works, but when everything collapses. Remember the 3 pillars: humanity, awakeness when technology shut down. Clarity of communication becomes the fuel that propels the team. Silent preparation forges the horror of chaos. Because in the end, dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, it is not system that save lives. It is leader wise when system fall. So here it is my question for you today. When your Hudson moment comes, will you be ready? Your turn to play. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Marie. Dear guests, if you have noticed, we are not stopping here with 3 speeches. In every meeting, which is every Saturday, there will be 5 speakers in 1 educational speech, which offers a lot of opportunities to practice. And on top of that, once a week, you have the opportunity to prepare and present your evaluation and speech and practice and get feedback. As we move along, I would like to welcome our 4th speaker, Nicole Miller-Douglas, and her evaluator, Pulkit Gupta, onto the virtual stage. Pulkit, over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Day. The speaker is slated to deliver a level 4 project 1 speech. The title of this project is to motivate others. The objective is to deliver a speech about the experience of building a team to help create and complete a project to benefit the club, and developing motivational strategies for each team member. Note that this speech is not a report. So the focus will be more on the experiential side rather than the technicals of the project itself. I wish the speaker all the best. Over to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Pulki. Nicole believes that leadership beyond certainty means embracing a learning mindset, to see uncertainty as an opportunity for learning rather than failures. Nicole Miller-Douglas, the motivational mom, Nicole Miller-Douglas. Over to you.
As a motivational mom, my drive is intrinsic, rooted in a deep desire to support my child in the best way possible. Along this journey, I've learned that I must also develop motivational strategies for others whose drive may be extrinsic, especially in areas such as volunteering. The team skills required to be a mom of young children are entirely different from those needed to be a motivational mom of teenagers. Teenagers prefer when you work in the background or you motivate from in the background. When I accepted the role of first vice president of the Kingston College Cadet Unit Parent Association, I realized that I needed to develop new competencies, including 1, identifying different ways to motivate parents, 2, nurturing positive relationships with other parents, 3, creating a clear vision that inspires others to accomplish shared goals. 4thly, outlining benefits in a way that appeals to all parties involved. Providing encouragement and constructive feedback to others help us to connect with each other. One of my key responsibilities was organizing volunteers for the kitchen, food during cadet camps. Initially, I would send a simple request in a parent group about a week before camp. These camps are usually held 2 or 3 times per year. However, this approach yielded very few responses. I assumed that I could just ride on the work of the public relations officer's effort in promoting the camps, where she'd highlight the purpose of each camp, send out several reminders, plus the receipt of permission slips for between 50 to 80 cadets to attend camp. I thought all these were good pillars of foundation that would make my job easy. I thought volunteers would sign up quickly when I made my request. Volunteers were few. This was daunting for me. That's when I realized I need to focus on motivating parents. Each camp brought new challenges and opportunities, making the task of organizing a kitchen crew feel like a brand new project every time. The teams varied, with few regulars and many new faces. To encourage participation, I identify what might inspire parents to volunteer as part of the kitchen crew. I began communicating key points such as teamwork in the kitchen contributes to the cadet unit success at the annual inspection camp, which we aim at winning. Also, timely meals are important to cadets' performance and well-being. Additionally, with limited budget, we cannot afford a chef. Our teamwork is what makes it possible. And of course, I'd appeal to parents that volunteering offers parents a rewarding opportunity to interact with cadets. And then cadets feel proud knowing that their parents are helping to support them in the background. I also began sending structured and detailed messages in advance and trying to connect directly with parents. Messages would be something of this sort. Shift 1, breakfast crew, 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m., 4 volunteers needed. Shift 2, 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., 4 volunteers needed. Shift 3, supper crew, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., 4 volunteers needed. Once I implemented this system and made it sound exciting, the responses improved dramatically. I also encourage parents to direct message me any concerns. Through this, I discovered that some wanted to volunteer but lacked transportation. This led me to start organizing carpooling, which further increased participation. One particularly rewarding moment came when a father expressed his hesitation to volunteer because he didn't want conflict with his child's mother, from whom he was separated. I reassured him that since she rarely volunteered in the kitchen, the risk was minimal. Seeing that young cadet run to the kitchen with admiration for his father was heartwarming. Encouraging that dad to stay involved in his son's life remains one of the most fulfilling experiences as a kitchen crew team lead. Motivation is powerful. It inspires others to help build community. Help build your community through motivational strategies. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nicole. We are moving on to our final speaker, which I would like to call on the virtual stage, Angela Brown, and her evaluator, Rozy Rana. Over to you, Rozy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. To attain growth in this volatile world, it helps to have a mentor. And today, Angela's project requires her to discuss and experience being a protege, as well as the impact of mentorship on her. Additionally, over and above the project objectives, Angela is working to develop and improve on her vocal variety and has asked me to look out for her ability to use that effectively. Thank you very much, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Rozy. Angela is an experienced public speaker, certified ESL educator, and award-winning author who has spent 5 years in leadership roles within Toastmasters International. She is currently working towards her distinguished Toastmaster title. She blends authenticity, humor, and life experience to motivate audiences, especially those navigating chronic illness, to find their voice and live with intention. Angela Brown, Flying Solo. Flying Solo, Angela Brown. Over to you.
Have you ever been so excited to start something new, only to realize you're the only one who got the memo? Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. 5 years ago, I joined Toastmasters. I wanted someone to walk with me, to guide me, to encourage me. I had my notebook in hand, heart full of hope, ready to be mentored into greatness. I was told by the president that I could choose my own mentor. Of course, I chose the person who invited me to Toastmasters in the first place. She was someone I admired and looked up to. When I asked her to be my mentor, she said, I don't think I'm equipped to be a mentor. The president said, I have an award-winning speaker who's going to be your mentor. He's perfect for you. He's won everything. So I was excited. When it came time for me to do my icebreaker speech, which is the first speech in Toastmasters, I sent it to my mentor for his feedback. His feedback was very short and just bland. He said, I had a question or quote at the beginning of your speech. That's it. No context, no conversation, no encouragement, pat on the back. That's it, just a task. So I made the change, I delivered the speech, and I tried again. A few weeks later, I sent my speech to my mentor again, waiting for his feedback. I waited, and I waited. Weeks went by, days, no response. Eventually, I had to come to the conclusion that no feedback was going to come. Nevertheless, I kept going. I delivered speech after speech, level after level. I continued. When I reached level 3, I asked my mentor, I asked my president, can I have a mentor? He said, you've come this far alone. You don't need a mentor. Okay. That wasn't the answer I wanted, but it was the truth I needed. Because it was at that moment I realized that I am going to be leading myself in a solo flight. I continued to do speeches I learned by watching others, asking questions, and volunteering for everything. I realized something, that I was not only learning to be a better speaker, I was learning to lead myself. Well, the time came when I was asked to be a mentor. My first reaction, of course, was hesitation. Am I good enough? Am I ready? Do I know enough? But then I remembered what it felt like to wait for feedback that never came. I made a promise. No mentor of mine would ever be left to feel forgotten, unseen, alone in their journey. I joined Toastmasters, hoping to have someone that would guide me and encourage me. But I grew by learning to guide myself. That wasn't what I wanted, but I learned a lot. I learned 3 lessons. A mentor doesn't have to be perfect, just present. sometimes growth can still happen, even without support. And sometimes when you don't get the mentor you wanted, you become the mentor that you were waiting for. I didn't expect to do this journey alone, flying solo, but it helped me to grow. So the next time that I'm mentoring someone, I'm not going to look at them as, oh, I didn't have a mentor. I'm going to look at it as I learned how to fly solo. So I can help others learn how to take the same flight. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, Angela. Now to our guest. Thank you so much, dear guests, for joining our meeting. As a final call, I would like to invite you to complete the guest book that is being posted. That way we can stay in touch and you can receive updates on our meetings and workshops and other events. As we move along, I would like to invite the timer to post the timer report in the chat, please. Thank you very much, EJ. Thank you for your report. Now, can I please call on the Zoom master to please launch the poll for the best effort speaker? Mohammed,
It's not the
would
Zoom master.
Would
speaker or the speaker.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. It is visible to us. Thank you. Dear fellow members, dear fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, we have concluded our speaker section and we are moving on to the evaluation sections. I would like to welcome on the virtual stage our general evaluator, Nellie Chain.
Sonja, I'll cover Nellie for today.
Okay. Thank you so much, Holmes. Holmes is our president. Holmes, would you like, for your introduction, would you like to say something?
Sure, definitely. Uncertainty exists in all situations, especially for myself as a project manager. Regardless of that, we remain hopeful that we can achieve something better as we look ahead. Now, let me take over as the general evaluator. Thank you so much, our Toastmaster of the day, Sonja.
Thank you.
Members and guests. In Toastmasters, one of the hallmark is the presence of evaluators. Think of it in your work context or other communities. Where do you get a dedicated person to listen very carefully to the things that you do? Does not have a conflict of interest in terms of giving you evaluation and feedback, because this person is not your colleague, is not competing with you, but here genuinely trying to collaborate and trying to help you to grow. In leadership speak, we take this to a higher level. Speakers and their evaluations are generally assigned 2 weeks or more in advance. This would mean they have the time to connect, to discuss what is their learning goals. And this is also why you have heard quite a number of evaluators talk about it. Hence, when they give their evaluations later as the general evaluator, I will not only be listening out for how they deliver themselves as a self-directed leader, but also to how they address the project purposes as well as the learning goals of whom they are evaluating. In my general evaluation, I will give each evaluator a very short comment, which I will then follow up after the meeting with more detailed evaluation. With that, I'd like to invite the first evaluator for today, which is Terence Ware. He is evaluating the toast. When I asked him, why is the meeting team important? He said, in leading beyond certainty, certainty is not guaranteed in our engagements, but clarity must be sought. Terence, over to you.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will give the evaluation of the speech, that is the toast by Toastmaster Ami Keita, distinguished Toastmaster. These are the things I found effective with your delivery, Ami. The first thing was your Zoom presence, your framing, and even the choice of your background. I noticed that you chose to go with a plain background, which was easy to blend in because unlike mine, you could easily raise your glass without losing it, and that was effective. The second thing was something that kept resonating throughout your delivery, the key takeaway. What could anyone who joined at any particular point take away from your message? One key thing, that leadership beyond certainty is a skill that we need to master. We don't have certainty as leaders, and we need to get moving. The final thing was your delivery skill. That was effective in terms of your tone, your pace, and the transitions between your story and raising the toast. To challenge you or to help you get to the next level, especially with a social gathering such as this or any other, when you're delivering your toast, I would challenge you first. Step quickly into the message. The formalities can take away from your message and lose us along the way. And finally, you are exuberant throughout your delivery. And that meant that even when it came to a sad moment like talking about COVID-19, you are still at that level. You are still excited about it. And I would challenge you to incorporate that when you're talking about something that is not so exciting. Take it low so that we can feel the pain. With that, I found your Zoom presence, your audience takeaway, and your delivery skill effective, and you can improve on your the sadness. That is something that you can work on, and with that, you'll be more effective. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator, Mr. President.
Thank you, Terence. Terence have gave a a structured evaluation with where Aminata has done well and where she could improve. Where I would recommend Terence as well as other evaluators to do is in the introduction to first frame the structure. This can be done in 2 steps. Firstly, what the toast is about or what the project essentially is looking for in 1 or 2 sentences. And secondly, then to break down what will you be talking about first and second. Thank you so much, Terence. I believe such a structure would help the members and guests as well as the speaker be able to track clearly how to go forward, and you can also add a conclusion. Thank you so much, Terence. Next, I'd like to invite Irene, the evaluator of the Toastmaster of the day. When she was asked why the team is important to her, she said, "We live in a world filled with uncertainty." This team then reassures her to relax and find a way even when the path of or outcome is unclear or not guaranteed. Irene, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Toastmaster of the day, Sonja. Well done. The purpose of your project today was for you to facilitate an online meeting. And I will tell you where you excelled at and what you could improve on. You truly, truly shone as the Toastmaster of the day. How did you do that? You prepared well. The WhatsApp group was set up 4 weeks ago. Well done. And today, and all through from that time when you set up the WhatsApp group, you kept on sharing tips, you kept on speaking with your team members, ensuring that role takers connected, ensuring that everyone was supported. That was done excellently. And today, you were the first person in the room. You were ready. And from the beginning, you thanked everybody. When the SAA introduced you, you thanked him. You thanked every role taker. So you set the stage for a very upbeat tone. Your gestures complemented your words beautifully. When you talked about 3, when you said together, it was very obvious that you were paying attention to your words and your gestures. Well done. And you called out for the guest book at least 4 times. And you smiled. So it made us feel invited, feel valued, we felt welcomed. Your introductions for the speakers were rich and meaningful. Felt like someone talking about some very personal friend. Very, very well done. What could you do better? I noticed that for some speakers, when they were done with their speech, you had 1 sentence to just remind us of what the speech was about. But that was not done consistently for every speaker. So I would recommend, just for the sake of balance, should you choose to do that, then do that consistently for every speaker. Overall, you made us feel welcome, you were well prepared, and you were calm and confident and enthusiastic, all wrapped up in one bundle. Just pay attention to that little detail, that be consistent in what you're doing. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Irene. Members and guests, I'd like to point out a few things that I think we can all learn from Irene. Firstly, Irene was actually just assigned as the Toastmaster of the Day Evaluator a few hours before the meeting. But notice that in her evaluation, she didn't just talk about what happened during the meeting. She also mentioned what happened 4 weeks ago. This meant that as an evaluator, as even before being assigned as an evaluator, as a member, an active participant in the Leadership Speak community, Irene has been carefully observing what is happening around. So to all members and guests, I like to encourage you to do this in your own communities. Observe what is happening around, and when something is done well, commend and encourage them. Throughout Irene's entire evaluation, Irene also took on a calm, structured, and systematic approach. To me, this was important for this evaluation because Sonja actually hasn't been with Leadership Speak that long, only a few months, and this is her very first role as Toastmaster of the Day. Hence, I found Irene's approach to encourage her extremely appropriate. And yes, Sonja, you are doing a good job. I'd like to move on to the next evaluator, Natati Makhanso, which is evaluating our Leadership Speak education speaker. When asked about the theme, she said, "Leadership beyond certainty. It's about being an all-seasons leader who navigates uncharted grounds with certainty and determination for real-time success. Embracing an internal voice that says, victory is certain and impossible is a myth." Over to you, Natati.
I can change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust the sails to always reach my destination. Mr. General Evaluator, Nellie's speech was a project based on the fact that she had to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, Nellie's speech was truly informative and making it a pleasure to listen to. Her presentation style was commendable. The quotation with which Nellie opened from Jimmy Dean was a great way to set the tone for her speech. And its message of adaptability resonated well with the theme of the meeting, leading in uncertainty. By referencing Jimmy Dean throughout her speech, she created a beautiful golden thread of continuity and reinforced her points. This weaved his wisdom to her narrative. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, notice how her presentation slides were. Her choice of slides with visual pages. It was a treat indeed, as it was complemented with bullet points. It was a great and a unique presentation. These slides created an impression of a desire to communicate with the audience. Well done on your presentations, Nellie. She did an excellent job of clearly outlining the elements of leading in uncertainty, which amongst others included adaptability, resilience, communication, connectivity. or connectedness. Her explanation of each element was very concise and clear. She may consider the following. There were areas where she could have improved by making eye contact, as well as looking at the camera, which she could not do. In summary, Nellie has presented an informative speech, which can be enhanced by a personal story, and also her Zoom presence, because she seemed as though she was reading from a script and did not look at the camera. And well, as her voice was a bit flat or maybe a little bit monotonous. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Natati.
Sorry.
No worries. Thank you, Natati. Natati delivered a structured evaluation. Perhaps because we only gave Natati 3 minutes, what I encourage Natati to do is that, well, she has taken many of the points, especially in terms of what areas that Nellie could do better, how that could impact Nellie's key message. I encourage Natati to share with Nellie after the meeting for each of her suggestions that she had. What is the impact on Natati as an audience? How would Natati hope Nellie had delivered it slightly differently so that Nellie's message becomes a lot clearer, potentially also a lot more impactful for Natati. Thank you so much, Natati. Next, we have a series of evaluators who are focusing on the project speeches, our 5 to 7 minutes project speeches. Our next evaluator, who's already spotlighted, is Sandra Vox. When asked why the team is important to her, she says, leading beyond certainty is that wonderful experience of simply knowing where you're aiming for an end goal and still stepping forward by deciding on just the next step. So the hoped for clarity shows up best with a bright smile, which he's doing now. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you. I must say that Ghada was not volatile today at all. She was with us. Ghada, you had a beautiful flow of motion that was totally congruent all the way through. As I watched, I thought it was like a dance of sign language, and that is really powerful. It brings a new understanding to me of sign language itself, even though that's not what you were doing. Your humanity and your love just blows through. It just lights you up, and it lights me up as well. Radiating. Now, the opening motions I found were all love, but you could do some really powerful contrast because it flowed so much, it was hard to separate the language with the motion without words. You could have showed us. So you can kind of shout in sign language, and then you can bring it back to the love and what's coming in. I noticed that when you got about halfway through, this was when you were, I believe, on a plane and reading a book. So you continued with your motions throughout the entire presentation, and I don't think they were necessary all the way through. So when you reached that part that you were reading the book, from there you started to do a lot of this, which was giving a rhythm. So as you watch the replay, you're going to see how your motions were constant, but not necessary to be constant all the time. And what that would do would be able to concentrate on your face as to get your facial expressions, which we're also going to be speaking without words. There was a place where you said, and this was following the reading of the book, and everybody was just staying grounded because of your smile and your calmness, which they could feel. And you said, I hadn't even said a word. There's an opportunity for a wonderful pause. Yet. That pause is really going to give us the impact. I hadn't even said a word yet. Overall, I feel that you taught us and demonstrated to us the love and the power of love in motion. That is so critical. Whether you're at the grocery store, you see somebody looking sad, give them a smile. Doesn't cost. That's what you brought. I loved being moved, and I look forward to you expanding in this area. Over to you, GE.
Thank you, Sandra. One thing that sparked in me is how Sandra exercised and demonstrated active listening, not just in terms of the content that is presented and what she's saying, but also in terms of her body language. Notice how she used similar gestures, which was one of the iconic moments of Ghada's speech, and also used similar gestures not just for that moment, but throughout her entire evaluation. A suggestion for Sandra, which you can consider, is perhaps at the start of the evaluation, she could also emphasize a little bit what was her key takeaway from the message. Was there something that she gained so much that she will apply in her life? Thank you so much, Sandra. Moving on to the next evaluator is usually Joseph evaluating the second prepared speech speaker. When asked why the team is important to her, she says, "This team, leading beyond certainty, reminds us that life itself is uncertain, and as leaders, we are all pushed out of our comfort zones every day, whether voluntarily or involuntarily. This is how we grow and strengthen our resilience." Over to you, Yusali.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Distinguished Toastmaster Felix, this was one of the presentations that make me feel the need to have a Jillian in my life. Thank you for this well-structured and captivated presentation. You presented your experience as a protege with love, consideration, and gratitude for your mentor. You started with a powerful opening statement. Throughout the presentation, you showed that the benefit of this mentoring relationship went beyond just work performance. It led you to personal improvement and in your life overall, such as getting a car as sooner than expected or than planned. Your mentor encouraged you to be yourself, your authentic self. Your mentor uplifted you, had true connection with you, challenged you, and gave you the comfort that you need to grow. What particularly caught my attention was your overall presence. You had a welcoming and pleasant facial expression, and you enhance it by using many elements of non-verbal communication like that. And you really played with your face. That was amazing. And although you had as well some appropriate body language as walking, showing the walking when you were talking about the first step. Another important aspect of this presentation is that you have shown that the protege has turned into a mentor. And there is no better way to demonstrate the value of the lesson learned than by passing them on. What about areas for improvement? It's first regarding your framing. That's why I stand to show you, you had too much space between your, above your head. Next time you can put something else under your laptop to reduce the space under your head. The other aspect is the time. When you saw the red card, we could see the hesitation on your face, so you can work on your time for the next time. Overall, you had a humble, captivating presentation full of gratitude. Congratulations for that. And continue to work on your Zoom presence and the time. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Yusli. Yusli gave us a fair number of things which Guerdah Felix, our speaker, has done well. I'm gonna be a little bit naughty here. When a speaker has done very well, especially with an experienced speaker like Guerdah, and Yusli is also quite experienced herself by now as a district leader, spend more time in terms of pushing Guerdah. For example, when she was speaking, were you able to even embody and completely visualize that everything she was saying? If not, point those out, nitpick her, and share with her how she may be able to show her experience better so that in that process, her speech also becomes more impactful. A challenge for you, Yusli. Thank you so much. Our next evaluator for the third speaker is our dear John Ojefo. John, my apologies. When I took over last minute as the general evaluator, I didn't manage to get your one sentence on why the team was important to you. Would you want to add something before you go into your evaluation?
Well, as I've said, the team is very important to me because it enables me to practice resilience, adaptation, and collaborative problem solving. That is so important in terms of volatility. We live in a world of VUCA. And so this leadership with certainty enables me, the team enables me to be adaptable, to be resilient, and then to practice collaborative problem solving.
Thank you so much, John. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand over the time to John to evaluate the third speaker, which is Marie Cusin. Over to you, John Ojefo.
When certainty strikes, you don't rise to the level of your expectation. You fall to the level of your preparation. When certainty vanishes, will you be ready Fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Marie, today we experienced a persuasive inspirational speech titled When Certainty Fails, Leadership Rises. Your speech was compelling and thought-provoking. It invited us to reflect on how true leadership emerges, not through moments of clarity, but in moments of crisis and chaos. As a member of this audience, you motivate me to embrace uncertainty as an opportunity for leadership growth, using storytelling and emotional appeal. Now, there were several areas where you excelled, and today I'm going to speak on areas where you excelled and areas where you can, I find you can consider improving. Now to the areas where you excelled. As I've said, you excelled in many areas, particularly in the areas of your content, delivery, and language. But I'm going to use only one or two of them. Your message was clear, well organized, and meaningful. The message in which you said, when certainty falls, leadership rises, is both universal and relevant. It speaks to every profession, every parent, every Toastmaster who have ever faced uncertainty. The strengths include the theme, which was clear and well sustained. Now to your delivery, I call to your request for the voice flow, which consisted of three things: prosody, pacing, and pauses. This I found they were beautifully done. They were all well done, even though I could not hear some of your words, but I was still able to follow because of your arc of strong, the speech had a strong act, a strong narrative act, which includes problem, realization, and transformation, and a call to action. I enjoyed the three calls to action. And one area that you might want to work upon is about your Zoom presence. You will see during the motions, you watch the motion, you will see at the beginning, you had very exaggerated motions that was a little bit confusing. All in all, I think you did very well. You excelled very well in your voice flow, audience engagement, and your emphasis of the takeaway. If you work more on if you have improved, you can improve when you work more on your Zoom presence. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, John. Something special from John's evaluation is that he started with a technique of repeating the key message 2 times before he goes fellow Toastmasters and guest. I like to focus on that. An evaluation at a club like Leadership Speak, I like to encourage all members and also future members to take it as if it is public speaking. It is a time where you also want to demonstrate all the good public speaking skills that you have. And I think John started off well with that. Following on that line in terms of his presence, nitpicking John can look out for how there were particular moments in time where it seemed like up to 2 to 3 seconds, he was looking downwards, I believe, at his notes. And I encourage all evaluators in note-taking, right before you start the evaluation, perhaps just write maybe about 5 words, and let the 5 words or even short graphics be the reminders of what you want to say, except for quotations, so that at most times You can remain in good eye contact with the audience, and as well as focus on how best to display your Zoom presence, your body language to engage the audience. Thank you so much, John. I'd like to move on to the next evaluator, which is Pulkit Gupta. When asked why the team leading beyond certainty is important to him, he says, comfort zone lies beyond certainty. Leaders are bred in ambiguity and leading when there's no clear path of precedence. And that is when the test of your character is its highest. Hence, leadership beyond certainty definitely rings as important to him. Over to you, Pulkit.
Thank you, General Evaluator Holmes. Now, Nicole gave her speech about motivation. Her title, The Motivating Mom, actually is my first point of commendation. In the book Thinking Fast and Slow, the author Daniel Kahneman, in the chapter Cognitive Ease, talks about a clear distinction between pro-public speakers who index on cognitive ease versus others who don't. And one of the ways cognitive ease is induced by these pro speakers is by using rhetorical devices, one of which is an internal rhyme. If you see Nicole's title, The Motivational Mom, it has internal rhyme, mo and mo. That's a pro speaker move, and that's what puts you in a league of your own. Well done, Nicole. Second point of commendation to Nicole is that, remember, as I said, it's a speech, not a report. In a speech, the human touch needs to shine. The human factors need to shine. And Nicole did that. Whether it was sharing her joys when her kitchen crew management succeeded, or whether it was the conflict where she experienced when the dad said that, hey, I'm facing a separation from my wife, will it be a problem? These kinds of one-to-one human interactions, which index on a larger message, makes a speech memorable. It makes a speech impactful, and Nicole did that. When it comes to recommendation, Nicole, the first is that at very start, you had a 5-point brief about 5 points to reach or 5 points to tackle. The problem with using these too many points to tackle in a speech is it gets lost. In public speaking, what we call it's what's loose is lost. If you're bringing in a point, it needs to be indexed to some kind of anecdote, some kind of activity or act. But in a 7-minute speech, it's impossible to index 7 points or 5 points to similar anecdotes. So reduce it to increase the impact. Choose your points wisely that you wish to bring into your speech. The second recommendation, Nicole, is that your distance between the problem, decision, and the reward arc, the journey was too short. It was borderline reporting there. Even though the human brilliance did come through, but the reporting aspect was also eminent because it was like, I had this problem, I took a decision, and I had this reward. This loop is too short. Human life is never too certain. So these kinds of loops introduce the problem of disengagement. Humans can't relate much to that kind of quick solutioning. So lengthen the arc, Nicole. Let the trade-offs, the ambiguity, the frustrations also come between the problem and the ultimate reward. So just lengthen the distance between your problem and reward. Ensure that it's not 5 point too much. Reduce the points to increase the impact, but keep up the amazing human touch that you brought into a speech, which could well be a report. But yes, you tackled it well. And the title, which is definitely a rhetorical treat. And your project objective definitely stands completed. I wish you all the best, Nicole, for your future speeches. Over to you, General Evaluator Holmes.
Thank you, Phuket, for the evaluation. One thing that I think everybody can learn from Phuket here is that he chose 1 or 2 points that on the area of improvement, and he really explained, he expounded on them. Why is it that he picked those 2 points for areas of improvement? Why, when this was done, it impacted the experience of the listener, and why, if his suggestions was adopted, what would it do to the speech? One small area of improvement for Phuket then is how to be more concise, because the red card was shining for quite a while. Nevertheless, I'm sure Phuket has more details he wants to share, and I encourage Phuket to share the rest of his evaluation, be it praise or areas of improvement, to the speaker. Thank you so much, Phuket. I'd like to move on to our next evaluator, Rozy Rana. When asked why the meeting team leading beyond certainty is important to her, she says, hating a business in a volatile, uncertain world, she is aware she cannot predict the future. But what she can and must is to envision success, have strategies, rally her teams, and adapting as needed to realize their shared vision. Rozy Rana, over to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Holmes. To Angela, your honest reflection of your journey as a protege. This honest account was so aligned with today's theme on leading beyond certainty, because that's what you did. You started with this anticipation of having a mentor who would guide you, and then uncertainty comes in because you don't get what you expected. So you get disappointed, but ultimately you lifted yourself and rose above. Congratulations. You had remarkable Zoom presence. You were confident, you spoke with great energy, your gestures were visible, you had this smile and warm tone. You immediately put us all at ease, and you maintained eye contact throughout. So the connection with your audience was great. And when you started with a rhetorical question, immediately engaging us. So really that eye contact, that rhetorical connection was beautiful. The structure was beautiful because you began, as I said, with that expectation, and then you talk about the struggle, that feeling, and you use language so powerfully. I felt forgotten, unseen, and alone in the journey. We could feel that pain. The solo flight or flying solo and then learning to lead yourself. Again, we could really feel it. So the language, the structure, and then how you go on to show us that, fine, I didn't have a mentor who guided me, but what I've learned today is I will not do unto others what was done to me, because I would have wanted guidance, and I will make sure I guide. I think that's powerful, and that's leadership itself, and spoken like a really strong coaching leader, and congratulations for that. So how do I believe that you could elevate your beautiful reflection to a different level? And I think it's the area you told me you wanted to work on, which was vocal variety. I said earlier, you had a smile, you had a warm tone, it was pleasant, that's nice. But to be more dynamic, maybe if you tried layering emotion into your voice. For instance, you were excited to be allocated a mentor. At that stage, you even used the words, I was excited, but rather than just I was excited, build it up, I was excited. And then when we realize later, this mentor is unresponsive, he's not encouraging as you expected, he's not guiding you as you expected, let your voice dip, slow down, so that we could feel that volatile emotion. Maybe the brief pause also between, those powerful words of feeling alone would really help. But all in all, today you demonstrated that, self-directed leadership when there is uncertainty. You demonstrated to us that you don't necessarily need support showing up to get your own growth. Thoroughly enjoyed it, layer with emotion, and that presentation will be even more dynamic. I'm sorry you didn't get the best of mentors, but congratulations on your growth. Over to you, General Evaluator. Oops.
Thank you so much, Rozy. What I hope all members and guests got out of this speaker and evaluator pair is that this particular project on mentoring, the different learning aspects that Rozy has pointed out, that when we may not get the best mentor, we can nevertheless become the mentor, which is also the key essence of Angela's speech. One area that I commend Rozy is that she manages to focus and make it very explicit that her areas of suggestions coincided with where the speaker requested advice for, because the speaker wants to grow. And I want to emphasize on this. Experienced evaluators, many of us here are, including Rozy, we may be able to identify many different things that could have been done or was done well. But what would be most impactful to the speaker would always be to cater and to adjust our evaluation for the speaker's learning purposes. And today, Rozy has done that exceptionally well today. Thank you, Rozy.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite the timer to post the timing. Thank you, EJ, as well as the Zoom Master to launch the poll for the best effort evaluator. While we are going through the votes, I will also like to invite our grammarian to share his grammarian report.
Thank you so much,
Good to you.
our general evaluator. I am totally thrilled to share that several members boldly embraced the word volatiles. And here's the leadership with our linguistic champions, Nellie, 4 times, clearly leading the volatile league. Ghada, 2 times. Ghada Felix, 1 time. Mary, 1 time. Sonja, 2 times. DTM Rozy Rana, 1 time. So heartiest congratulations for all your wonderful efforts. Give yourselves a round of applause. I must say, today's meeting was a dictionary in motion. Words like adaptability, resilience, emotional intelligence, ripple, uncertainty, motivation, teamwork, ebullient, and many more made our meeting sound like a TED Talk waiting to go viral. Let's some sentence that truly stood out today. To be authentic for better connection, heartfelt and powerful. When digital dies, humanity must be awakened. The poetic though the grammatical insight may whisper may be awakened. And let's talk about the few quick makeovers. Life was testing me. Life has been testing me. Clarity becomes fuel. Clarity fuels actions. I developed new competency. Is to better, I have developed new competencies. Tiny tweaks, but they make a big difference, just like adding a pinch of salt to a perfect dish. Overall, the language was today very expressive, vibrant, and full of passion with all the speakers, evaluators, and every role players. Even the grammatical slips were so adorable, the kind of make grammatical smile instead of frown. Thank you for making this meeting not just volatile, but also vivid, vocal, and vivacious. Back to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Holmes.
Thank you, Miro, for not only listening carefully to the good areas of language use, encouraging us to use the magic of language to inspire others, but also using good languages yourself. Some of which is also caught in the Zoom chat. Two phases that caught my attention. One is how we are a dictionary in motion. The second one is that our language is like a TED Talk waiting to go wild. Thank you so much for adding colors into the meeting with your language use. I shall go on to my general evaluation. A few comments I'd like to make. The first one. Every single meeting in leadership speak will have its fair share of uncertainty. In the last minute, when I mean last minute, I mean in the last day or so, we do have changes in roles. Despite that, I'm very thankful for the team to be able to adjust to the changes and then carry on the meeting as smoothly as possible. As an audience, putting on the head of an audience, if I were a first-time guest and I compare with many other clubs that I've attended, I would say I didn't really even notice there was a disruption throughout the entire meeting. So well done to Sonja, who's leading the meeting, and well done to all fellow self-directed leaders in this meeting group. Secondly, and adding on reinforcing to how well done some of us here have, is that we have a number of people who are doing their roles for the very first time. This starts from Sonja, our meeting manager, the lead for the meeting, the TMOD. Going on to some others, such as Rashmi Udeshi, who is doing the greeter role. It's a very busy day for her, all the way until halfway in the meeting. She was a meeting guest, she was greeting guests via private chat. Includes Kanaf, who started off our meeting as the representative and face of the club to officially kickstart with the disclaimer and welcome members and guests on an official basis. And also includes very experienced Toastmasters who are here learning, adapting to our club, such as Aminata Keita. I'm not so sure if some of us have mentioned it or some of us are aware, but this is a regional advisor, a former regional advisor, who comes to the club and openly says, what is your practice in the club? Let me know. Let me learn. Evaluate me. This is the heart and the mindset of a true self-directed leader. Thank you so much to all our meeting players, our role players of the entire meeting.
some quick feedback to the meeting as a whole. Members as well, members especially. How is it that you can maximize your learning experience in each and every meeting? These are some suggestions which I am aware some of you are already doing. Number one, during the meeting, as much as possible, maintain a Zoom presence on. I'm not asking you to stay here for the whole 4 hours, including the pre and the post meeting, not to step away. I know sometimes, as fellow human beings, we need to step away for a short while. I shall not elaborate why. But aside from that, let us engage our fellow speakers. Show your bright smiles. If they are saying something sad, react with them. Maybe an emoticon might help. Maybe a Zoom quick message. Wow, I'm so touched by this. It helps. And then following which, drop them a more detailed evaluation at your convenience. We have a few members who are doing this. Sandra is one of them who has been very consistently doing this. I commend Sandra. Good job. And to the others, let's start doing it. When something really sparks us, let the person know so that this person in the future speeches will do something similar. If it's something that, well, really distracted you, also let the person know. Because here in Toastmasters, if we are not going to tell the speaker about all this, who will? Who will? That's why we are in Toastmasters, and that is why we're in Leadership Speak as a community to support each other's growth. If I may add on a little bit, in terms of speakers and evaluators, we always stress that this is a pair. I know some are going beyond the minimum expectation. Some of them, what they even do, and I'm aware, is that they would have calls, sometimes taking hours, even if it is a 3-minute speech or a 7-minute speech, to really go line by line talking about the key message. Now, I want to state this clearly. I'm not expecting everybody to do this. Sometimes it is a time commitment. We may not have the time. But when you are able to, and when you are assigned a speaker or evaluator, that you have built good rapport, I would encourage you to do it. And when you do it, also share in the meeting chat some of the things that you have gained in that process so that you also inspire others to connect deeply, evaluate deeply, and then also grow together. It's grow together, not just the speaker, but also the evaluator. In summary, every single Leadership Speak meeting is a learning opportunity. Some of us learn by managing the volatility, which I thank the TMOD as well as the educational speaker for reminding us by choosing this team. Some of us learn by engaging and by looking at how others engage with one another, maybe in Zoom, maybe in the meeting chats, maybe in the training sessions. And above all, we can all learn through our deep connections with one another as we prepare in our training sessions, in our personal connections, and maybe even start off some small projects where we can connect through little study groups. With that, thank you so much, everyone. I'd like to hand back my time to our meeting manager, the meeting lead, our Toastmaster of the day, Sonja.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Holmes. As reflection is very important in every of our meeting, I would want to welcome on the virtual stage Joyce Kipe, who will be sharing her thought of the day. Joyce is a seasoned Toastmaster. For the last 4 years, and currently the president of her local club and program quality director in area district 114. She is passionate about growth and becoming an eloquent speaker. Over to you, Joyce.
Leadership beyond certainty. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. True leadership begins when certainty ends. It's the unknown that courage is tested, vision is proven, and character is revealed. Great leaders don't wait for clarity. They create it through faith, purpose, and action. This can be depicted through understanding their members and guiding through their purpose. It's also the ability to connect with the team and set a pace in the event there is a volatile environment, to be decisive even when they don't have all the answers. Currently, the world is experiencing a season of uncertainty between geopolitical tensions, global inflations, climate change, and associated natural disasters, and worries of a possible another pandemic. Here, great leaders have to think quickly on what to do in this volatile environment to adapt to the new way of doing things without affecting their working environments. It's leading with courage and not comfort. I remember in 2021, when I joined Toastmaster, I was given the role of a treasurer. I didn't know what to do, maybe by the fact that I'm an accountant by profession, and I took up the role and led it with valorous, and I was able to execute the role successfully. So let's not shy away from leadership. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about guiding others when clarity is out of reach. True leadership starts when certainty ends. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Now that we have listened to and learned from our many speakers and evaluators, of course, we would like to know who are the winners for Best Effort Speaker and Best Effort Evaluator. Let's start with announcing the winner for Best Effort Speaker. Congratulations! Best Effort Speaker of the Day is none other than Ghada Felix. Please join me in applauding and congratulating her. Well done, Ghada. We are moving on to announcing the Best Effort Evaluator for the day. Rozy Rana. Congratulations and well done for winner as Best Effort Evaluator. As every time we learn a lot, we take a lot away from an evaluation and striving to become a great evaluator as you are. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Guerdah and to Rozy. Now that we have learned who won for Best Speaker and Best Evaluator, I would like to welcome on stage, on the virtual stage, our President, Holmes.
Thank you, TMOD, Sonja. Now I'd like to take some moments to speak to the most important people in the meeting room. Yes, it's the guest. I'll start off with some of you who have indicated who have signed up on the guest book. Vivian Wangu Tairu, are you around, Vivian? Is it convenient for you to share with us some of your feedback? Vivian Tairu?
Yes, I am around.
Is it convenient for you to also turn on your camera? It's optional, but highly encouraged. Vivian? Hello, Vivian. So nice to have you here. And you are among one of the first people to join the meeting, even before most of the members. What got you here? I'm so interested.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Vivian Magoi from Kenya, all the way from District 114, Pwani Area 9. I'm currently serving as the secretary for Kericho Gold Toastmasters Club. I'm still a student pursuing psychology at the Technical University of Mombasa in Kenya. I found the meeting to be so amazing, the Leadership Speak Club. That is so nice. I liked the name of the club, Leadership Speak. That I was so curious to know what is this leadership talking about? How is leadership speaking? And also, I found your meeting through the East Africa Toastmaster Community WhatsApp group, where I decided to join because of a long caption that had been written there about the leadership speaking club. Yes, and I'm glad to even hear where the club came from and how it was birthed. It's such an honor also to get to hear that when others were battling with COVID, Toastmasters still saw the need of coming up with these online meetings to still facilitate this. And this is amazing. Thank you. I love the meeting. And yes, back to you, Holmes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Next, I'd like to invite Obed Namahoro to share some of your feedback. Obed, are you available? I see you have your camera on. Hello, Obed.
Hello, Mr. President. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Obed Namahoro. I'm a Toastmaster. I'm a member of Kigali Bilingual Toastmasters Club from Kigali, Rwanda, in East Africa.
How was the meeting for you, Obed?
That's in District 115. Okay, the meeting was very wonderful. The meeting was really interesting. I was not able to arrive on time. I arrived during the mid time of the fifth speaker, but I learned a lot from the evaluators and especially the comments that the general evaluator was giving to the evaluators. With that, I'm willing to come back in your meetings as much as time allows me. With that, I will not leave without saying this. I'm serving District 114 as the District Conference Convener, what we call TCON. Shall be held in Kigali from May 15th to May 17th of 2026. Wherever you are, please can reach out to me. You can reach out to some members like Rashmi, like Rozy and everyone else, and then you will know how you can celebrate with us in Kigali, the country of 1,000 hills. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Obed. Very glad to have you here. Peace Bisaki, are you available? Peace Bisaki.
Yes, I'm available. Greetings, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear, peace.
Thank you. It's my pleasure joining the Leadership Speak Toastmasters. I am a Toastmaster from the District 114, from the club in Tanzania called that Toastmasters Club. and I got the invitation from our IPP Toastmaster Atul, and thanks to him. And also I see our president is here, Toastmaster Rashmi, with warm greetings. That's one of the key takeaways that I got from this meeting. I really appreciate that. And honestly, the meeting has been really insightful. Looking at the time frame of the meeting, I was like, am I really going to be present for all these hours? But David, every speech is just amazing. The evaluations are authentic. The feedback, like everything is just interesting, and so much learnings that I've taken away. A lot of key things I've taken away as well. I was just noting down. I'm here with my notebook full of notes, and I can't wait to attend the next one. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you very much, Peace. I also like to hear from George Moyura. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. George, are you available?
I'm available. Good evening, everyone, and guests. I'm George Gizecha Mwaura from Anchored Toastmasters, which is in Kenya. We meet every second and fourth Friday of the month. So if you're in Nairobi and you don't have a plot on a Friday evening, you can always visit our club. We are the Club of Champions. We meet from 6:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's always a pleasure to join you. I think the last time I joined you was a bit long time ago. I've seen that you have done some changes in your program. The meeting is a bit longer. Also, the structure of the speeches and the evaluation is also different, which is also good. You get to learn more, and it's a good thing. I enjoyed the meeting, and I will always plan to be available and join you whenever I'm free. So back to you, President Holmes.
Thank you so much, George, for your feedback. Yes, there have been some changes across the years and the months, and we're still refining to see what is the best way we can support all members as well as future members' growth to become better self-directed leaders. I'd like to add some comments for the guest. Guest, I saw that some of you have indicated that you are interested in visiting us. If you mean continue to visit us as a guest, you're always welcome. Our meetings are at the same time for countries that are not following daylight savings throughout the year. And for countries who are having daylight saving, from now until the first meeting of March, it will be 8:30 Eastern Time. And then when there is daylight saving, it will become 9:30 Eastern Time. This adjustment is to acknowledge that majority of our members right now are already from parts of the world that do not practice daylight saving, so we want to be able to adjust accordingly. Another remark that I'd like to share is that Leadership Speak as a guest, you will be able to see all the meetings on YouTube even with live stream and also share our recording. But if you were to join as a member, there are actually 3 meetings every week, or should I say at least 3 meetings every week that you can benefit from. We do have a Tuesday session that is catered to help members become better self-directed leaders. It is a coaching session by our master coach, Bram Manom. And then we also have a Thursday practice section. That is where some of our newer role players can learn more in depth how to do better for their respective meeting roles. And on both sessions, there will be conversations about self-directed leadership, how we can do better, how we can utilize Toastmasters, what we learn in Toastmasters to benefit our personal and professional goals. For guests that have indicated that you are keen in finding out more about Leadership Speak, one of the executive team members will be reaching out to you. With that, I like to hand back the time to the Toastmaster of the day, who will be adjourning this meeting. And to members and guests who still have time, you are encouraged to stay back after the meeting has officially ended to continue sharing with us some of your key takeaways, some of your feedback and suggestions, and may we continue the conversation of learning how to lead beyond certainty. Back to you, our Toastmaster of the day, Sonja.
Thank you, President Holmes. There's not much more I can add what you already have said. Thank you so much for all the members who have attended the meeting. Thank you so much for all your guests. And I hope you really, really liked it. Therefore, I would like to adjourn the meeting and ask the Zoom master to please stop the recording. Thank you.